Hello, everyone. I am absolutely thrilled to welcome you to Strong, Grounded, Unstoppable, the podcast for women who are done just pretending everything's fine. Now, whether you are not there yet or whether you are strong and unstoppable, I love to introduce my guests because I'm sure that they will inspire and delight. And I'm certain of that today as I welcome Caroline Wragg. Now, Caroline is a marketing strategist leader, and she has a real spiritual element to what she does, which I think is beautiful, especially for women. Perhaps I shouldn't say that, but anyway, she's a leader, she's a speaker, she's a sales and well-being professional, a business connector, and women build businesses by building relationships, I know that, and a business developer and mentor. And she is absolutely delightful. As you can see, she's truly colourful. And Caroline, welcome. It's lovely to have you with us.
Thank you so much, Susie. It's an honour to be here today.
Oh, bless you. Well, my first question to you is actually, where did it all begin?
Oh gosh, how long have we got?
Half an hour.
Right, let me take you back
Yes,
to
please.
the time when I was 5 years old.
Okay.
And sorry, don't worry, I'm not going to go through the whole timeline.
No,
We'll
no,
be hearing
no,
this.
no, no, no.
So I'm saying that because just a little backflip as well, because my family originate from the gorgeous country called Egypt.
Okay, hence the exotic.
And well, you can't get away from curls. They worked in the 80s, but then, it's just stuck with me. So I've thought, well, I'll just stick with it, go through the trends,
It's
and the trend
beautiful.
keeps coming back. But yeah, so joking aside, my family came here from Egypt. My father was one of the ones who had a British passport from birth, even though he was born in Cairo. And he had, under Nasser's power in the Canal Wars, had 48 hours to leave the country with all his family. So he came here as a 15-year-old. I'm not going to go into the full details of that today because that's another story. But the reason I'm sharing that with you is because when my mum came over, which was years later, she was brought over to be married to my father. Couldn't speak a word of English, and of course, I was her light in the shining sky, and her social arm, I guess. But being brought up by a foreign family, which is just absolutely gorgeous, with a culture culture is so important to me and family. I spoke with an accent when I was little, when I was a toddler. So I went to school as a 5-year-old, and I know they go a lot younger these days. And I spoke with an accent at school and got made fun of by the teacher.
Oh, the teacher.
And it was interesting, and I include this in my keynote talk, which is called Roots, Culture and Lots of Gold. And the lots of gold is about the business, earning the business and finding the gold in you and the gold in your business.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that affect, and I remembered that, and it bothered me a lot. And I thought, well, why is that? Fast forward, very interestingly, my own daughter, who is now a grown adult living in another country,
Yeah.
when she was 6 years old, myself and my sister were having a conversation about accents, my sister being a voice coach, and we were talking about accents. And we were talking about my mum. She was with us, my mum was with us, my sister and my daughter. And we were chatting about that, Susie. And my daughter just turned around and said, as a 6-year-old, my nana hasn't got an accent.
Mm-hmm.
And that, to me, proved from what the children hear is not what everybody hears. So
There's
such an
different. There's no, it just is as it is.
just beautiful, and it just was like such a lovely moment. And I'm so proud of my daughter, but I'm here to talk about what I've been up to, and the importance of the roots and the culture, and going back to your roots. And I know everybody's got different experiences, but we've been brought
Goes to the table. Different experiences make life colourful and interesting for everybody and create empathy and compassion in some instances. It's just how life is. Life.
It is life. And you know what? We were brought up in a very loving home, lots of
Mm,
food. Even if you weren't hungry, we were saying, we'll make you some food. Typical, Egyptian hospitality, just absolutely beautiful. So we were brought up with lots of delicious food, different cultures,
mm,
countries that I visited, because of my heritage, which was just absolutely amazing.
mm.
And just because of that, I'm actually writing at the moment a cookery book,
Oh,
an Egyptian cookery book, which is not every single book recipe, but recipes around the family and what
yeah.
we ate, what we enjoyed. So
Oh,
that's
how
going
gorgeous.
to be published this year, and it's going to be called Nefertiti's Kitchen. So watch out for that.
Okay, well,
Um, so that will be a bit of a fun bit of an aside. And while
yeah,
we're on,
post it on socials.
yes, I will. Once it's out, I will. The plan is for later this year by Christmas,
Okay.
hopefully. Publishing pending. So yeah, and on the writing side, I'm a very creative writer. I write intuitive poetry
Mm,
and stories, and
mm,
didn't even realize that I'd got a knack for that until I started reading some out at business meetings. I'd written
mm,
some for clients, I'd written stories for my
mm.
children, until people said, Caroline, you've got a talent, you've got a skill there, you've got a talent. And I'm like, well, I'm just doing this for love. I'm doing this when I
Yeah.
see something. If I see a leaf, if I see a tree, if I see something, I will just need a word, and then I can write, the rest will flow.
Okay.
So I now have quite a few hundred of these that also needs to go into a publication. So I've been, I suppose, sitting on them for long enough, and I really just want to share them to the world. So these will come together in
There's really
different.
very much multiple elements to you, because when I first saw you on LinkedIn, I thought, oh gosh, marketing strategist, that's ooh, because I'm not that good. I'm good at the socials and people and creativity, but marketing strategy used to strike fear into me. But one needs to have that if you're going to be in business. So is that how you started out, as a marketing strategist? And then the
Well,
spiritual and creative side came later?
yes, I suppose so. I mean, I went to college and uni, and I did a business and finance degree, and I did a marketing chartered institute of marketing
Right.
um, diploma. Carried on doing the professional development.
Mm,
I started working in the world of import export, actually,
okay.
and ended up in logistics, freight forwarding, transport,
Mm,
and became, you know, the first role was really in, as a marketing executive
mm,
for one of the freight forwarding companies, and I absolutely loved it. It was a great industry. I'm still in touch with people today who we worked with
mm,
back then. It was an
mm,
incredible place, and I loved that industry.
mm,
And I worked my way through, became head of marketing, sales, and communications for one of the biggest logistics companies in the UK. Who now, the name has changed. Names have
okay.
changed. They all sort of merge by management buyouts and
Yeah,
things,
yeah.
and move on.
And so to rise to that level, how, especially as a woman in logistics and that sort of thing, is it quite a sort of a male dominated arena? How
Yes.
much did resilience and positivity, aka mental toughness, which is my thing, how much did that come into the rise in your business element?
Wow. Well, that's a very important question, because it was quite tough, because it was a very male dominated industry,
Mm,
and I think you had to show your professionalism and
yes,
creativity in
yes.
the lead in that. But what I did, actually, I was the first person to include everybody from the warehouse staff to the drivers to the people in the customer service, and bring them all together, because they were operating very much as a silo. The
Okay.
transport department were there, the operations were there, they had the the sales and marketing and development office there, and it was very much like that. So I made a point of bringing them together,
Brilliant. Yes.
building the relationships with
Yes.
the sort of scary transport managers, and
Yes.
saying, look, hey, without you, the development office can't do their job.
Hmm?
Without the drivers, they
Yes.
can't do their job.
Yes.
So I got them winning awards and
Oh,
wrote newsletters for them and created a really good internal culture
yes.
of camaraderie and bringing people together.
Yeah.
So it was
Love it.
absolutely incredible. It was just a
Yeah.
wonderful thing to see.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun doing that as well.
But making business fun and
Mm.
rather than being all fragmented, as you say, bringing everybody together. I love that, Caroline. So they must have loved you. You were there with a long time with that company?
Yeah, I was 9 years with that company, and then I moved to a different company, and then got poached, because in that industry you're sort of pulled and poached, and
Mm.
people want what you've been doing. And we created a lot of great point of sale material and worked with international agents, and
Mm.
it was absolutely wonderful. So I
Did
moved.
you get an opportunity to travel?
Yes, yes. So I've worked overseas. I've run hundreds of exhibitions around Europe, and
Wow.
travelled
Okay.
up and down the country.
Yeah.
Took it on board to visit some of the key blue chip clients to
Yeah.
make sure that they were getting the right
Yes.
service, and if there
Yeah.
was anything that they needed. So asking the questions that are
Yes.
important to
Mhm.
enable, the success of the business to keep riding and rising. So I was very much involved in the sort of hands-on, as well as maintaining the teams together. And of course I
Mhm.
trained telesale teams and trained staff, and was quite known in the industry then.
Fantastic. So was there a time when you had to really bring up your resilience and deal with something? Sorry, this is a very on the spot question, but
Yeah.
probably in general that you just had to be. You see, you're very feminine, and I think that for some
Mm,
women, it's about to rise up, it's to become tougher and be more man. And that's lessening as the awareness happens. But I think you can be strong and professional and still retain your femininity. Within reason in the business world.
yeah.
I guess you manage that balance fairly well.
I did, but that's reminding me of a story, actually, Susie, when I was a mere 21-year-old, just about to embark on started within the organisations that I mentioned. And I thought it would be a good idea to go to London and do an assertiveness course.
Okay.
And they said, oh, you don't need assertiveness. And I, well, no, I want to go and do it because I want to see where I'm at. So off I go to London as a slim 21-year-old, with my winkle picker shoes, as we wore then, and skirt suits, and
Yes,
um,
I remember those London import shoes with heels bouncing up and down the escalators. Don't know how.
yes, oh, wore them everywhere on flights and everything. But I went here, and I was actually, this is going to be sort of a bit of a reversal on your question, because
Okay.
the person that was taking the course was an American female lady. And I've got nothing against American female ladies at all, but
Hmm.
she was very much, oh, I've travelled in my sneakers, and then I'm gonna put my high heel shoes on now um, and she took one look at me, and bear in mind, I was 21,
Hmm.
and she said, oh, you're far too pretty to be assertive. And that just like, what? That
She
just shocked me.
it.
And I was like, no, I don't know. And
Yeah,
anyway, I
to
sat through
say
the
it.
thing, and I did that, and I thought, you know what, right, I know what I can do. I might be different. I work differently. This is me. This is how I'm going to be. So I just acted professionally throughout the rest of my
Mm-hmm.
career, and
Mm-hmm.
continued to lead in the way that I know was
Mm-hmm.
the best way to do it. So
Also,
it
nothing
was
to do with how you look, which sometimes
okay.
can be challenging because that's what some, let's call them gentlemen, see
Mm,
and act upon totally unprofessionally. and can sometimes make life, well, interesting in not a very nice way. So well done for doing that assertiveness course. I would actually say that could have changed my life if I'd thought about going on one of those. Uh,
Mm,
I mean, I'm fine now, obviously, but
yeah.
I could have learned it a lot quicker. But I was fortunate in that I was born with a good element of resilience and optimism,
Mm,
and so that stood me in good stead to deal with everything I went through. And that's why it's my passion, because not everybody is. And that's why I'm, releasing the webinar that's coming soon. I've got my books,
amazing.
just about to go out to do speaking events in May. And, so I'm with you all the way on retaining
Mhm,
your beautiful femininity, but
mhm.
being strong and professional.
Oh,
So,
I think that's so
yeah,
important.
yeah. And it makes life much easier and better for everybody. And I love the
Mm,
fact that you created not just an inclusive atmosphere with that logistics company, but a fun. I think
yeah.
it's wonderful. Oh, who doesn't love an award? Because it just
Oh, they
makes,
all.
oh, great.
Oh, it's great. I've done it with a few companies I've worked with and helped them win different awards, industry awards, and
Yeah,
been part of the panel
yeah.
to applications forward. So
Mm, mm.
lots of activity. But I
So
think
when did you
in the
start out on your own? When did you decide I want to do my own thing now?
UK, so that was back in sort of 2009. I'd been working with a sales organisation, so that's where the sales elements came in. So marketing qualified, sales qualified as well. And unfortunately, that company went into administration. I mean, it was a great company. I won trips abroad to Mexico and Cuba and Paris and places like that. And then sadly, it was not a nice experience for everybody working there.
Mm.
Yeah, I think I better not say on air what the boss
Yeah.
did to
Oh,
dismantle the business, but
okay.
it wasn't very pleasant for everybody. So that went into administration, and I was like, what do I do now? Do I go back into the industry that I knew? And I thought, well, can I? And I sort of lost my confidence a little bit, really. And I thought, what can I do? And I actually came across a network marketing company, and I did that for a short while. I mean, it helped me with personal development. I
Yeah.
don't do it now. Um, but I did that, and then I discovered a passion for essential oils and holistic health and
Mm.
well-being.
Mhm.
Because I was working with natural products, I guess that sort of triggered it.
Mm.
Um, I met my second husband through that process.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, so that was a sort of a bonus, I guess.
Yeah.
And towards the end of 2010, I'd enrolled onto a holistic therapy massage course.
Oh,
So
great,
I
Julie.
became an aromatherapist and massage therapist and set up my holistic therapy business,
Okay.
which was called Starflower Holistics at the time.
Yeah.
So I kept the name Starflower in the business and just
Mm.
changed the holistics bit.
Mm.
Um, but I ran that for a while, and what I found was that I was actually attracting a lot of high net worth individuals coming to
Mhm.
me for treatments because
Mhm.
they preferred the maturity, they preferred the quiet
Mm.
space,
Mm.
and they were talking and
Mhm.
they were talking. And I found that I gave the consultation because the sessions weren't rushed, they were looked after, they were
Mm.
talked with, and they had their session. And I'd at that around that time, when it was around sort of 2014, 15, I'd started embarked on my own spiritual development program.
Mhm. Mm.
Not my programs, but I went in to
Yeah.
learn more about that
Yeah.
because I was still a little bit skeptical, having worked in corporate and having been,
I
in
know
a
this is
business.
quite a journey, isn't it? But what I
And
love is this mix, because it's
mm,
powerful.
it is,
Yeah.
it is. So what happened? So I embarked on this spiritual development program, and I had massive revelations, huge revelations. And a year later, so 2016, I made a decision to stop the network marketing and to stop the holistic therapy massage business literally overnight. and a download came. All I can call it is divine intervention came down, and my first business marketing program was created called Wragg Your Business and Marketing.
Okay.
And all the time I was gearing back, all the time since 2010, 2011, I was gearing back to marketing and sales. And it's almost like it's ingrained in me like a stick of rock. But I couldn't escape it, even though I was telling people, oh, I don't do that marketing stuff anymore. I don't do that. But the thing is, I had so much experience. It was difficult not to ignore it. So I literally said, I'm passionate now about bringing back good, honest leadership marketing to support entrepreneurs and corporate professional leaders in their trade, to find clients that buy, move themselves forward, but do it without the overwhelm, and do it without, the stress, and include a holistic element into that work.
It's holistic and so human, because that's what we first of all are. And I think sometimes I've never been in the corporate world, but I do know people who've been in it, and I know people who've left it after quite some time and who've gone into the holistic world, because the corporate world has nearly all broken them. And so they needed to have that other sort of element, spiritual, holistic, came to them. And so I feel, I don't regret never being in the corporate world. I think it possibly can stand you some good foundations financially and experientially. So is that what's brought you to us today, that you are a spiritual marketeer and you help high-end businesses, men, women? Who's your audience?
Yeah, I mean, really, I always say to people, I'm not everybody's cup of tea, because I do work very differently. So I blend the hardcore strategies, because you need to have those in business. I've developed an income stream mapping system that looks at the figures and aligns with the incomes that you want to earn and the revenues that you need to be turning over in your business so that they can grow. So I work on all the hardcore, the foundations, the strategies, the planning, the infrastructure. But what I add into the mix is the intuition that comes from my 30 plus years experience, plus the added holistic spirituality that I have, that I know doesn't appeal to everybody, and they don't have to have that if they don't want that, but that just comes naturally as part of how I work now.
I think it's brilliant, and I think there must be plenty of people who are really glad to have that mix. So we'll tell them about you. We'll tell everybody about you through this. And is there something that you would love our audience to know before we close for now and say goodbye?
Well, I think if you're looking at, I suppose, growing your business, then you need to stop looking at all the noise and the crazy things that are happening out there, because there is a lot of pull. And I know we've got AI coming in very strongly, and it's knowing how to master that to benefit your business. As an old-fashioned traditional marketeer, I still keep up with the trends and the times to make sure that people are with it, and they are following the right path of purpose for their business and their livelihoods. Most importantly, I think, is your health. And healthy you, healthy business is something that it was a forum that I used to run, and I'm bringing that back this year. In fact, on the 21st, not 21st, the 13th of May, scrub that. I have an information session at 1:00 on Zoom, where I will share more about what that means. So, but at the moment, I'm just calling out to people who are in the health and wellness space, in the mindset resilience space, mental health, physical health, fitness, people who, because without our health, and we've all experienced things that have happened to us to stop us in our tracks, we cannot run and operate our businesses.
No. And that's very interesting timing, actually. I had a brief Zoom yesterday with Jo Soley, who's a business numerologist. And years ago, I had a session with her, and I'm in a year 7. And she said it's a quiet year. What did she say? It's not for pushing and hustling and just a quiet year, which I need for my health. But today, having thought about it last night, because I have my webinar, The Resilience Shift, coming up for over 4 days at the end of April. And then I've got my first speaking event on the 6th of May. I suddenly thought, I haven't even started to think about what my talk, what I kind of have, but I thought to fit this all in and to show up with my health as it is, to show up fully, I think I need to postpone that talk. And so I'm being sensible rather than thinking, oh my God, I've just got to, get on with it and push, push, push. I'm not pushing anymore, Caroline, because my health has been all over the place for a very long time. And I think also when you get older, you get wiser. One would hope. And I've just turned 68 and I'm thinking, I'm not pushing. I love what I do. And I want to be able to serve my resilience people really well. And so, I mean, I know they say health is wealth, but please share with me the details of
I will do. I will do, of course.
Important. And I think women as well, we push ourselves, we put ourselves last. And this is one of the things that I'm doing with women, is because come 50 plus, some of us are on the floor for a number of different reasons. And we need to, be able to build that resilience, build self-worth, and bring ourselves up again, which of course is what I'm all about. And I love this because I know you love what you do, which makes you really good at it. And I love what I do as well. And, I remember when we very first Zoomed, the first thing you said to me, I had my Buddha. Is it? Yeah, there it is.
Oh, yes.
You said to me, oh, I love your Buddha. And I thought, oh my goodness, she's a marketing strategist. And then I think we went on to talk about lipstick.
Oh, probably, yes. That's more like me.
Mine.
No, lipstick's very important. I actually did a post about a certain red lipstick on my social media, so that's quite interesting about investments and looking after yourself.
Say that phrase again, please, about health. What you wanted people to know.
It's called Healthy You, Healthy Business.
Yes.
And it's coming. I'm not sure if I'm going to bring it back as a forum again, or discussion, or just a meetup group, which we did quite a few years ago. It all stopped with the pandemic. But I'm having a gathering on the 13th of May, just for an hour, just to sort of share information about it. It's not really a webinar, it's just more information. And we will have, I will organise an in-person day to gather people who want to come and share their wisdom on health, any aspect of health and well-being.
I'd love to
for business. So it's and life, because if we haven't got that, we can't function, we can't operate. I've experienced it myself when I was taken out. I lost a whole year's income. I was in hospital for a month, bedridden and then hospital, and I couldn't do much at all in recovery.
Absolutely no good. And so we do need to learn that health is wealth, and for all we women who work for ourselves, well, we serve others through working with our own business, is that healthy you, healthy business. I absolutely love that. So everybody, Caroline, where do we find you?
Okay, so can I just mention some events and things as well, Susie? Is that okay? So I run some big events. I also run some smaller workshops and events. And if anybody is looking for more clarity and confidence in their business, in themselves, I'm running some clarity days coming up very soon. There'll be one at the end of May and one in June. So I'll pop the details of that fairly soon, just waiting for the links to be prepared. But you can certainly be on the wait list for that. And the best place to find me at the moment is on LinkedIn. So my LinkedIn profile, I'm there as Caroline Sylvia Wragg. So just find me on there. And
it's W-R-A-G-G, isn't it, Caroline?
W-R-A-G-G, yes. Yeah. That's my aim. And the new website will be coming soon, but you know that's going to be coming.
Very exciting.
It
Great.
is.
Oh,
Mm.
Caroline, when we first started this, people, she said, Caroline said, how long will this be? And I said, oh, about 30, 40 minutes. That's, and 30 minutes. And actually we're at 37 now, and it's gone like a flash. It really has. You speak about what you do so well. And
Thank
I
you.
look forward to hearing, more and to putting this out there. So thank you so much for being with us today.
Very welcome. Thank
Oh,
you. Appreciate
it's
that.
an absolute pleasure. Don't go away. Stay with me whilst I say goodbye. And then when I stop recording, stay with me. So I hope you've enjoyed this, everyone. And I really believe that you will take something from it, not just now, but perhaps in the future, from what both Caroline and I do with health, resilience, positivity, clarity, all these wonderful things that we women need, not just once. It's not just a one-off, it's a journey. And Caroline and I really look forward to being on that journey with you should you need us. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye for now. See you soon.